Hi everyone, I am artist and educator Genevieve Lavalle, and today we're going to work with one of my favorite things in the world. We're going to work with yarn, and we're going to be creating pom-poms. Pom-poms are made by wrapping yarn very tightly around something and securing it with a knot. It's a super easy thing to do. It's a really fun craft. You can turn your pom-poms into jewelry. They could be keychains. You can make a garland. You can make ornaments. There's so many things you could do with pom-poms, and I'm going to show you how to do it today. Here are some pom-poms that I've made in the past. You can see there are really big pom-poms, small pom-poms. Sometimes the pom-poms are super fuzzy like this, or other times you can trim them down so they're super neat like this. Okay, so all you're going to need for this is a piece of cardboard or an old piece of paper that's sort of heavier than just a normal sheet of paper. So it could be the back of a cereal box, it could be an old cardboard shipping box, but something that's a little bit sturdy. And you're going to want a pencil and something that's circular to trace. So I'm going to use this mug. I'm going to put it upside down and I'm going to trace it. Okay, you're going to need 2 of these, so I'm going to trace a second one just like it. Now, we're not going to leave these in a circle. We're actually going to turn them into, we're going to call them our C's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into the letter C. Okay? Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay? So let's go ahead and cut this out. Okay, so we're going to turn this circle into the letter C. Can everybody see how this looks like the letter C? Okay, so now we're going to need 2 of these. So we're going to cut one that looks exactly like it. So I'm going to trace it to make sure they're the same size. Okay? Okay, now we have 2 C's. So this is my collection of yarn, and as you can see, I have lots of colors to choose from, but you don't need this much yarn to create cool pom-poms. This is the yarn I've decided to use today. So I've got bunches of different colors, so I'm going to make a rainbow type pom-pom. Okay, so what you'll need once you have them ready is your 2 C's, you'll need some yarn, and you'll need a pair of scissors. So I have my 2 C's together, one on top of the other, like this. I want you to go ahead and pick some yarn that you'd like to use. So I'm going to start off with this blue yarn. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the end with my thumb. So I hold it right here, and I'm going to start by wrapping it around both of my C's together. Okay? I'm not going to go all the way to the edge because I don't want it to fall off. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to keep wrapping it around my C's. Now, since I've run out of yarn, that's okay. I can just let it dangle like this, okay? It's okay. We'll cut all of this off when we trim it down later. Okay, so I'm going to choose a new color now. I'm going to choose, this light purple yarn. All the yarn I'm using is scraps because I like to go find yarn at like the thrift store, or sometimes people give me yarn. So all of my yarn is in these little scraps. Okay, so sometimes it gets tangled up. That's okay. I'm not going to worry about that knot. I'm going to hold it down again with my thumb, and I'm going to start wrapping it around. Now I'm going to wrap it pretty tightly, right? It's not loose like this. I'm going to make sure I pull the yarn, so I wrap it nice and tight. We don't want our pom-pom to fall apart. Now it takes a good amount of yarn to make a pom-pom, so think about the colors that you want to use, because you're going to be able to use quite a few colors, or you can just do one color, right? This one was made with just blue, while this one has blue and red and orange and white. Okay, so again, I'm going to wrap around my pom-pom. Here is the final result of all the wrapping of the yarn. So I have it kind of thick, right? You can see these are the pieces of cardboard, and this is how much yarn I've wrapped around. So it's a good amount. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use our scissors, And we are going to put the blade right in between the two C's like this, okay? And we're going to cut right down the middle. So this part can be kind of hard. You have to hold the pom-pom and use your scissors at the same time. Okay? So on the really, really thick parts, it might take you a few tries to get the scissors cut through all of that yarn. Okay? You see how my scissors going right down this middle part? And I'm cutting the yarn. Now I'm also doing my very best to hold all of these so they don't come undone. Okay? So I'm doing my very best to keep all this yarn together. It's okay if a few pieces fall out. That might happen. Okay, so I've cut all the pieces of yarn right down the middle. The next thing you're going to need a piece of yarn to tie the pom-pom together. So I'm going to use 2 pieces of yarn to make sure it's really, really secure. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure the yarn goes right in between our 2 C's, okay? So I'm kind of opening up the C's a little bit, and I'm going to make sure the yarn goes right in between, okay? This is the yarn that's going to hold the pom-pom together, okay? So right in between. I'm pulling it as tight as I can, okay? And now I'm going to tie it in a double knot. So, put 1 piece of yarn through. See, I've got it as tight as I can make it. And now I'm going to do 1 more knot, double knot, just to make sure our pom-pom doesn't fall apart. Okay, so, see how all my yarn is still staying? Now, the final step, you can take the C's out. So I'll just pull them right out, okay? So this is how our pom-pom looks, right? Super fuzzy and fluffy. It looks awesome. You can keep it like this, but what I'm gonna show you now is how to trim it down so that it looks a little bit more like a ball rather than just a blob of yarn like this, okay? So I'm gonna take my scissors and I am going to do my best to shape it into a circle. Okay, so here is my final pom-pom. So thank you everyone for making pom-poms with me, and I hope you enjoyed this fun art craft you can do with yarn.